Hey, good day, folks. It is Tourism Tim Warren here, coming to you with another exciting episode of Tourism Marketing TV. And yes, I am wearing a new hat. This is an official hand-woven Panama hat that my wife just bought me, and she said, "Tim, you know that Indiana Jones thing is working for you, but I think you need to upgrade." So she got me this nice hat for my birthday, which is coming up pretty soon. So I thought I would sport it today for you all. But we got a really exciting topic today. It's about this social media app. Maybe some of you have heard about it. It's called Facebook. And, you know, if some of you are already, as tourism professionals, already engaged in Facebook, or you're thinking about, how the heck can I use Facebook to actually grow my prospects and actually sell trips? Well, you are in for a treat today. Today we have on the call Ryan Bifulco, who is the president and founder of Travel Spike, and we're going to talk about some tips and tools that you can use to Facebook. And specifically, I said, Ryan, I want some stories, I want some case studies, and you got to listen to this. Talk about a small airline who sold 800,000 tickets using Facebook in what was it, a couple days or something, or
2 days?
2 days. 2 days. So if you want to learn how to sell 800,000 tickets, or maybe would you be happy with just 1,000, or how about 500? You need to stick around. So that's what we're going to cover today. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, I'm excited about Facebook, and you know, it's the cool thing about technology, social media, online internet marketing for tourism. It's always changing, always growing, and we were laughing before the call. I said, you know, as much as I know, I try to always remember that I am as much a student as a teacher, and for whatever thing I know, there's triple that I don't know. And I would imagine for you it's the same thing. You're constantly learning.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with social media, Tim, it's changing so rapidly that, you know, you can have even a stat that you're aware of, and 3, 4, 5 months later down the road, it's obsolete. So there could be some trends and tactics and techniques that you're used to on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media site you're talking about, and things do change. So you do have to stay relevant.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for the people who don't know who Ryan is, and really what an amazing guy he is in the world of technology, the internet, social media, and tourism, I just want to give just a quick snapshot, and I'm going to read this, just a couple elements from your bio, because there's so much here. But, you know, the cool thing I appreciate about you, Ryan, is you've been at this for over 20 years, focused on new media, social media, the internet, tourism, and not just as a consultant, but truly as a thought leader and expert. I mean, you've been featured on and interviewed on interactive travel, destination marketing, tourism. You've been on Business Travel Talk Radio with Sandy Duvetter, ABC Radio, New York Times, at USA Today, and various conferences, Focusrite, U.S. Travel Association. But I was really impressed that that you worked as an international revenue management and for U.S. Airways, and you're responsible for, listen to this, folks, $675 million in revenue per year. So, not only are you a teacher, but you're a practitioner, and you've been out there putting this stuff to work, and most importantly, helping people enhance their bottom line. So on that note, welcome, Ryan, and why don't you just give us, for those that didn't see the previous interview, just a little bit more of a snapshot of your background and why you choose to focus on helping tourism professionals with technology, social media, and the internet.
Thanks, Tim. You gave me a nice little lead in there. So yes, certainly started my career in the travel industry with US Air, and was very fortunate to work on a lot of the European new markets that we were launching, and got to team up with a lot of great tour operators and put out a really nice product there. Then went down to AirTran and helped them build their first website, airtran.com, which Salman Smith Barney actually announced back then that we were the #1 airline website in the world. At that point, we were doing, I think it was close to 9% of our business on the web, and most of the major airlines were only doing about 2% of their business. So kind of caught the bug, e-commerce bug, very early on, and have just always had my career around digital and travel and tourism ever since.
Very cool. Well, you can see. I hope you can see why, folks, that why I was, when I first met Ryan, read one of his articles, and started checking him out online and what he was doing. I would thought, wow, this guy knows his stuff, and how cool would it be if I could hook up with Ryan and get him to share some of his insights for you. So here I am. Here we are. So on that note, let's jump. Thank you for being here. Let's jump into Facebook. And I thought it would be really cool if people understood and appreciated just what really is happening in Facebook globally. So if you could give us a little background in stats, growth, size, and why this is really important for any tourism professional to take note of, and then how project that into the future on how that, what's expected to happen in growth.
Sure. Well, I think what's really interesting about Facebook is, first of all, they have 900 million users, Tim. 900 million.
God.
That's a pretty big number.
That is a huge number.
That's almost 1 billion. They'll certainly be eventually hitting 1 billion, but for now, they're 900 million. They're the third largest country in the world. If Facebook was a country, they would be the third largest country in the world. So that really, I think, puts it into perspective how large and how powerful and how far-reaching Facebook truly is. They're in so many different countries. Obviously, they're very strong in the States, and that's where a lot of their users are. However, they have a tremendous amount of users spread out all across the globe. So that's the first thing I think that a lot of people don't realize how large Facebook is. And then also how often people are going on Facebook. I've seen a few different stats that it's 95% of the internet population is actually going on Facebook at least on a weekly basis, and about 70% of people are actually on Facebook daily.
Yeah.
I think I've even seen something like 40–50% are on Facebook multiple times per day.
Yeah.
And so it's become really the new pastime of the kind of the internet surfer. Whether you're on your mobile device or your PC or your laptop, whatever it is. Of course, you're checking email, you're surfing the web, but you're spending a lot of time on social media, social networking sites, and certainly the king is Facebook. Some more stats that I think are really interesting. We've seen a couple of stats where 60% people are 60% more likely to recommend your business to a friend if they actually like you or are a fan of your particular brand on Facebook. That stat is from Chadwick, Martin, and Bailey. That's a great stat I use all the time. Very similar in the same report. People are 50% more likely to buy something from you if they like you or they're a fan of your particular company on Facebook. So, it's not just something that is out there and people are interacting. People are also very much looking to their friends for advice, and there's a viral marketing component to Facebook because you've got friends that are kind of following what you're doing on Facebook, and so if they see that Tourism Tim is in a certain destination, then all of a sudden maybe some of your fans and followers that are on Facebook might be influenced to check out that particular destination. And some of the success stories that we've seen on Facebook, as you mentioned, there was a small airline called AirAsia, and they are one of the most successful kind of case studies that we've seen. They sold 800,000 airline tickets in 2 days on Facebook. That's a pretty big number. Like you said, I think most people would be happy selling 800 tickets. These guys sold 800,000 airline tickets in 2 days with a discounted promotional fare sale that they did on Facebook. AirAsia takes social media very seriously. They had 7 or 8 people working on social media at the airline. So it's not something that they're just doing for 15 minutes a day, 3 days a week. So they're very much invested in it. And as you know, Tim, it takes money to make money. And so you do have to really look at this as an investment. If you're going to invest money in a magazine ad, if you're going to invest money in some banner ads, if you're going to invest money in whatever you're doing, Facebook needs to be looked at in the same way. And certainly there's some things you can do for free on Facebook, but time is money, and you really need to make sure you're investing time and also investing money. So those are just some of the interesting case studies that we've come across that I think really prove the point that you can actually grow your business from Facebook.
No doubt, no doubt. And you made a couple of really key points, Ryan. I want to reiterate for viewers is the one, the power of social proof. I recently did a show about this and put out an infographic by Nielsen, which did a study on the most influential forms of advertising, and word of mouth and comments or likes on social media ranked right up in the top, top three. And you guys know that I've been preaching this for years and years and years, is that getting your clients selling for you is the best way to market your tourism businesses, and social media only turbocharges that opportunity for us if you do it right. And we all have to start, if we're going to do something with Facebook, as Ryan said, we have to move from dabbling as a distraction and a pastime to really making the investment in our education and maybe spending a couple bucks to setting up this as a business profile, of getting involved with it from a business standpoint. What would that look like, and how to do that so that it actually is not just a pastime to stay in touch with friends, but really one to an opportunity to get your friends selling for you, recommending you, liking you, and building your base of contacts and generating some business. So I asked Ryan I said, Ryan, Facebook is an awfully big topic. Why don't we just start off with some really cool basic stuff to kind of get you going or to enhance what you're already doing, knowing that you've got everyone out there watching has got more questions and they're all at different levels. And so, we want to hear back from you guys. Based on what we've presented here, what more would you like to know about Facebook? What specific strategies they're working? What are your questions? What are your challenges? So be sure to, at the bottom of this video, post your questions. There'll be there'll be a Facebook plugin to make your comments, and as well as the make a comment within my blog, and I think Ryan's going to have the same. But Ryan, why don't you give us a couple of cool tips. I know last time we did the Twitter thing, I ended up with a page of notes that was about a whole page of notes. So you guys take out your pens and paper and get ready to take some notes, because Ryan is full of great ideas. But we're just gonna focus on 2 or 3 good ones. So what do you recommend to get going in Facebook? Sure. To build that business?
I think one of the first things to understand, and you and I were talking about this earlier, is that you can have a personal profile. So Ryan Bifulco, Tim Warren, you can have your own personal profile on Facebook, and a lot of people, that's how they kind of get started. If you want to put your business on Facebook, you really are not allowed to do that from a personal profile. Facebook will actually kind of shut you down. So you need to have what's called a branded, it's a fan page. It's actually a page for companies, celebrities. If you actually have a personality that is your business, you would actually put that on a branded Facebook page rather than a personal profile. So that's the first distinction I think that you need to understand, is certainly people that work at your company can have their own personal profiles, but if you have, AirAsia, for instance, has an AirAsia official page. And then some of the people that work at AirAsia may have their own personal profile pages, but that would be totally different than having an official branded Coca-Cola page, having an official branded, Expedia or Starbucks page. That's really what you need to do, is set up your own company page in order to promote your particular tourism business on Facebook. You really cannot and should not be doing that from your own personal John Smith kind of a profile type of a presence on Facebook. So that's the first, important distinction you need to make to kind of set it up properly. On that official branded page, of course, you can have your logo, you can have some pictures of your business, you can have information about your website, and you want to cross-promote, so you can talk about the different ways people can get in touch with you. If you have a blog, if you have an email newsletter, if you're on Twitter, you can kind of give all that information so that when people are on your Facebook page, they can just learn a little bit more information about, what you're doing. One of the top ways to get what's called, fans to your branded page or likes to your page is actually Facebook has set up a sponsored program, so you can run Facebook ads, which are kind of like Facebook banner ads, and you can actually buy those ads, and that will lead to getting more fans, more likes for your particular page. You can target things, so if you are a business that's operating in France, you can say that I'd only like to reach people that are in Europe, or if you have a tourism business in Portland, Oregon, you can target only people who live in the Pacific Northwest. You can do different types of targeting. If you have an adventure business, you can actually target people that are adventure seekers and adventure lovers like yourself, Tim. You can actually target by psychographic and demographic and different interests. If someone's interested in golf or surfing or luxury or leisure or families, lots of great ways to do targeting on Facebook. And let's think about it. When people are on Facebook in their profile, they're actually sharing different little pieces about themselves. And so that's how Facebook can very easily target those people, because they have said and indicated in their profile, it's public information that they're sharing with their friends and family and colleagues. They're talking about their interests. And so wouldn't you rather get ads about things that interest you? So if you're not interested in a particular field or a particular topic, I really don't like to get information and advertising on topics that I'm not interested in. So I would prefer to get information about things that I'm very passionate about: travel, the internet, various sports that I'm involved in. I would prefer to get information about those types of activities rather than, I'm not really into basket weaving, so I don't really want to get ads about basket weaving. I'm not a scuba diver. I don't want to get ads about scuba diving, but I do like, to go to a beach. So that's really the great part of Facebook, is that they have some great information, and you can use that to your advantage when you're doing your advertising campaign. So that's called Facebook ads, and they're very basic banner ads. They just, in the last, a little bit in the last year or so, Facebook has launched something called Sponsored Stories, and that's their advanced new advertising program, where you can start to integrate within somebody's profile and their page different sponsored stories about your particular business. So rather than just being a standard banner ad, it actually incorporates almost like an editorial, a little bit of an advertorial about your business. And then let's say that that Tourism Tim, that you have 500 friends or fans on your particular page, they would then see that you are interested in a particular brand. So if Starbucks was doing a sponsored promotion, and Tim, you liked Starbucks, then all of your 500 fans and friends and followers would see, hey, Tourism Tim endorses Starbucks, or Tourism Tim endorses this particular charity. So that's how it becomes viral. So think of Sponsored Stories as a little bit of a viral ad. So they're very successful, and I would highly advise people to look into both the Facebook banner ads as well as the Sponsored Stories. And you can get started with just a few $100s. You don't have to have, $50,000. You can get started with a very small amount of money and start building and growing fans. So that's a really good way to get going.
Wow. Yeah, I've noticed those recently, and I thought, how brilliant. Right at the bottom of the little ad on the side of my page is, my friend Craig likes that, and Ryan likes that, and it definitely is more compelling. I know it's an ad, and I know that it's being delivered to me because I've already said I'm interested in this, this, and this. But it is definitely more compelling when you see, this person liked it, this person liked it, this person liked it, and so once again, it's social media is really, it's just social proof. So it's an awesome thing. Those sponsored story ads. Do they get any bigger than the ones usually they look like they're about 1.5 inches tall or 2 inches on the sidebar? Do they have any other size options? What else is going on there?
Yeah, most times they are kind of incorporated into your stream and into your status updates and into your actual page. So they are kind of text-based with a little bit of a thumbnail, kind of a smaller image, and they're trying to make it part of the user experience. So most times they are kind of smaller. A lot of times when you're clicking on those types of things, it can kind of open up to a larger page or landing page that has a lot more room to kind of talk about what you're trying to do. But as you said, you know, everything is viral, and so it's a soft sell because it's part of your activity on Facebook. That's the thing I really like about the sponsored stories, is that they're tastefully done, they're integrated well, and they're done in a very soft sell kind of a way, because if your friends are doing something, you're going to be more interested in it, and you're going to kind of trust, you know, what is going on there. So I think that's a nice evolution that Facebook has done with kind of standard banner ads, and now they're kind of taking them one step further. I still feel like you should do the regular Facebook banner ads, but also take a look at these kind of newer sponsored stories. They've just put out some tests now that Facebook has gone public. They're having to justify themselves a little bit more to Wall Street, and there's been some criticism. General Motors just pulled $10 million of advertising out of Facebook, and Facebook was able to kind of counter and fight back a little bit and explain that there are some really great success stories. Expedia and Starbucks and Target have shared some case studies, very, very successful. Starbucks saw that people, fans and their friends, actually bought 38% more frequently from Starbucks, which is a great stat right there that just shows you that the money that you're going to spend on Facebook, the time that you're going to spend on Facebook, is going to come back to you in a very, very big way. That's a very impactful number, that you've got 38% more frequently that your fans are going to be actually coming into your store and buying, you know, the specialty coffee. So that's a great stat. Expedia had something very similar. Delta Airlines, I saw, had something very similar. So within the travel industry, we're seeing some really great case studies, and even outside of the travel industry, just shows the power of Facebook and from an advertising standpoint. And even, you know, there's more to do on Facebook than just buying, you know, advertising. Just by being engaged, you should be updating your official branded company page at least once per day. You want to stick in the 1 to 2 times per day. You don't want to be updating your page 10 times a day. That would kind of annoy people. It's a little bit different than Twitter, where you do want to be updating your Twitter page 10 times per day. You don't want to be updating your Facebook page 10 times per day. And you want to make it, you know, interesting and unique. On the personal side, we all have friends that update it a bunch of times per day, and they kind of turn people off. You know, they're clipping their toenails now. They're going to get a drink. You know, who cares? Yeah. So you don't want to be doing that on Facebook, especially you don't want to be doing that with your business. Yeah. So if you're only going to be updating your Facebook page once a day, let's make it count. Let's make it interesting, and try to put yourself in your fans' shoes. What would really make them care and take notice and be interested in your particular page? You always want to add value. Content is king. You want to have something interesting, whether it's an interesting story, an interesting photo, an interesting blog post, an interesting video. You just want to make it so that it's interesting. You don't want to just post because I told you to post once a day. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to put myself on the hot seat here a little bit and get the expert's opinion. We were talking before this interview, and I said, well, you know, I've got my personal profile, and instead of starting a branded travel business success page, what you guys know me, I tend to be very information-centric and always wanting to help, and I thought people aren't going to be looking for travel business success, but I do know that they're looking for travel business and tourism marketing tips and advice. So I started a branded page that's just that. It's called Travel Business and Tourism Marketing Tips and Advice. And my goal and what I've been actively doing is asking questions, sharing advice, engaging my audience. Occasionally I'll put a link in there from a new show, an interview, not only that I've done, but other people have done on there. And then when I make comments, I'm doing it as Tourism Tim Warren. Then, like 6 months later, I finally started a branded travel business success page, but I really haven't been spending much time there, folks. I'm mostly over on travel business and tourism marketing tips. What do you think about that? And also, just to add to that, I would, my thought was
gee, if you were a kayaking expert or kayaking enthusiast, or you knew Bhutan like nobody else was business, you could start a fan page that's topic centric and engage and build an audience there based on that, and then interact as the expert, which is kind of what I'm doing. What do you think about that, Ryan?
That's an interesting idea. I think because you have the kind of the Tourism Tim successful persona. Another idea could be you could set up an actual Tourism Tim branded page, and it's kind of it's kind of on the fence, because you could set up a Tourism Tim profile because you're a person. However, because you're kind of more of a persona and it's a little bit more of a business kind of a thing, a lot of personalities, radio personalities, podcasters, certainly celebrities, they actually have to set up a branded page. So Bruce Springsteen, for instance, sets up an actual Bruce Springsteen kind of fan page, even though he's a person. So you're right, Tim. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of things to think about from a strategy standpoint. What's going to make the most sense for your particular situation? I think a lot of your fans and readers and students are probably very unique. So there's not one answer that fits everybody, and that's kind of why they need to get the coaching, whether it's from yourself or from an expert, because every situation is going to be a little bit unique. But you just want to make sure that if you're promoting a business, you want to make sure you've got that official fan page. But your idea of kind of asking questions and then answering them and providing some value is a great idea. You can certainly do that within a Facebook group, and then you can also do that by leaving comments on different on your different pages, like you said, that you had set up.
And I noticed, and what's cool when you have multiple, whether a personal profile, which my personal name is, they allowed this, is Tourism Tim Warren. That's when I post at my personal, it's always Tourism Tim Warren. But on my fan page, that's Travel Business and Tourism Marketing, I noticed, which is cool, when I'm going to someone else's page, I can choose to comment as my fan page or my personal profile, and I play around with that too. So that the neat thing is about this, folks, is that we may be engaged. Ryan and I are engaged with this every day, and it's always changing. It's always evolving. There's always more to learn, and there's no perfect way. Sometimes you just have to test. But the key thing is you have to get off your fanny and try something, take action, and get engaged. So I asked Ryan, what we need to wrap up here, but a couple things, folks. One, really, we want you to tell us what do you want and need, so that we can focus our focus and energy. But one thing we know for sure is that if you're in tourism, you better be online, and if you're not showing up in the right search engines, you're not even in business. Ryan has agreed to talk about an important topic we all really need to focus on, which is always changing, and that is search engine optimization, and how to get involved there and make sure you're showing up and attracting the right traffic for you. So I really appreciate your time as always, Ryan. Before we go though, how can people find you on Facebook? I will share mine as well.
Sure. So people can find me over our website is travelspike.com, and on Facebook you can find us. We have a company branded page, which is Travel Spike. And thanks for having me on. And like you said, next time we'll talk a little bit more about the search engines. Cool.
That sounds great. Well, folks, you guys can find me, Tourism Tim Warren, if we're not already friends. I'd love to have you. And then one of my fan pages is Travel Business and Tourism Marketing Tips. And I'm always playing around with the names, and I've got something I'm working on here. But if you go to facebook.com/tourism.business.association, that's where you'll find these travel business and tourism marketing tips, because that's what I'm working for, is creating this global community of independent tourism professionals, and that's where I want to find you. So come on over, ask some questions. I'll have experts like Ryan and others engaged, dedicated to helping you be inspired, be connected, and to learn so you can pursue your dreams. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and thanks for liking and sharing. Take care, folks. Take care, Ryan.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye-bye.